Hey guys, got another knife to show you today. This is the Kershaw Dimension, model number 3810. It's got some pretty interesting, unique features that I wanted to talk about, which is why I'm reviewing it. Now, this is a budget option. It is discontinued, but you are able to find these. I know they are on eBay for about 50 bucks. But we'll do some quick comparisons before we get into it. So here it is against the Kershaw Echelon. And the reason I featured this knife to compare it to is the fact that they have pretty much the same style of thumb stud. It's got those large, thumb studs where, you can see right through it. So, just a pretty interesting design element that they have for the Dimension. And here it is against the ProTech TR2. And the reason I'm featuring that one is because the Dimension has a plunge lock on it, which you don't normally see for Kershaw knives at all, unless we're talking about the Launch series. And you don't really see them on non-auto knives. So I thought that was one of the interesting things when it comes to this knife that I wanted to talk about. And here it is against the Griptilian that I always show. So, as you can see, the Kershaw Dimension is a medium-sized knife, kind of in that perfect range when it comes to knife sizes, and it's in that range that I really like. So, there we go for comparisons. And some specs on this knife. The overall length is 7¼ inches. The blade length is 3 inches, and the handle length is 4¼ inches. The weight on it is 5 ounces, which is kind of heavy, especially for the fact that this is actually titanium. So that was another interesting point I wanted to talk about. You don't really see Kershaw ever use titanium, especially for a budget knife. I'm pretty familiar with all of their folding knives, and I can't really remember a time where they used them titanium. So if you know of any knives that they used it on, please let me know in the comments. And again with the plunge lock as well. So seeing both of these things on a budget knife is just very interesting, very unique, but also very compelling. It also has their patented speed safe, so it is assisted. It opens pretty nicely, pretty smooth. It runs on phosphor bronze washers. I'm not really going to be able to see that, but like I said, it's pretty smooth. And the steel on this is 8CR13 MOV, so a cheaper Chinese budget steel. But it is a budget knife, so I kind of get it. Would have liked to see something better, but it is what it is. The blade stock thickness is at 160 thou, which is pretty thick. It's about 4.1 millimeters. And the handle thickness is 0.52 inches. So it's pretty normal size thickness for the handle. But, I mean, check out those titanium scales. Those are some thick slabs. But the fact that it doesn't have liners kind of makes it, again, just a normal size when it's in your hand. But yeah, these are pretty thick, which gives this knife a really, solid, almost overbuilt look and quality to the knife. So, it's a good workhorse knife, beater, if that's what you're going to use it for. Which for me, that's what I'm going to use it for. I did buy this new, and it does have a little bit of marking on the titanium handle. So, this is going to be one of my work knives. It does come very sharp. And even though it's very thick stock, it does have a hollow grind. So that's going to help for cutting tasks. The blade style is drop point, and it's got a stone washed finish on the blade. Plain edge. The knife comes in a flipper configuration, or you can use the dual thumb studs to engage the knife. And like I said, these thumb studs are really large, which gives your thumb a lot of purchase to open the knife. Or if you like the middle finger flick, you got that option as well. So whatever you like. It's got the triple way deployment. It also has a tri-carry option with the pocket clip. You can have for right side tip up, tip down. Right now I have tip up, and on the left side you have tip up as well. So that's pretty nice. And for it being a plunge lock, very solid, no play up or down. So that's nice. The centering is spot on, perfect, 50-50 in the middle. Great to see. And it's got a simple construction with the standoffs, barrel spacers. So again, that's something that I actually like on this knife. It's got a very grippy texture for the jimping, which makes it very useful, along with the ergonomics. So as far as ergos go, it's got this really interesting kind of two-step design. That's what I call it, in the finger choil areas. So your index and middle finger, can fit perfectly in these spots right here. Your two fingers will fit there, and everything feels really solid in the hand. Just really nice. And again, despite how thick these titanium slabs are, it feels normal, it feels good. And I like the fact that it's got this milling here in the titanium. It's a pretty cool aesthetic, but it's also functional. It provides a grip, for right-handed carry. It gives you some grip, or even left-handed against, your palm area here. So that's nice. It's a cool feature, and that gives the handle some nice look to it without it just being, just for aesthetic. It's also functional, so makes it useful. And some of my positives that I have for this knife is just the fact that Kershaw, they tried something different by using the titanium for a budget option. I think that's really cool to see. And I like the fact that they use the plunge lock as well. It's just another interesting, surprising choice. So for them, using both of these options together and in a budget, for a budget knife, I think that's really cool. Again, I've never seen them use a plunge lock on any of their non-auto knives. But if they have, please let me know in the comments. But yeah, it just gives the consumer that option for titanium without, having to break the bank. So I think that's just a really cool decision by them. And I really like the pocket clip on this, how it has a tri-way carry, tip up, tip down. And the fact that it's actually a mini deep carry pocket clip. The pocket clip is not, the best, coolest looking clip, but, I still like it because this is gonna, fit really well in the pocket. It's gonna slide down and it's just gonna get lost in there. But still, be very secure. And it also is gonna look, not so much like a knife when it's in your pocket, and maybe more like a pen, which will make people more comfortable around you if they see it. They're not going to think it's a knife, and especially in the workplace setting, that might be a little bit better of an option for you. Also, the milling, that is another pro for me. It's just very simple, clean lines. I really like how these lines kind of flow out where the choil ends and the next one begins. So that's really cool. Just, some simple but intricate milling that, like I said, gives it a nice aesthetic, but is also functional. So that's pretty cool. And I like the simple construction with the back spacers, barrel spacers. Very easy to clean, just very nice look. So that was another one of my positives. And since this is titanium, another thing is that, since it's a gray color, you can anodize this and make it more personalized to what you like. So, that's very cool. And I might change this color to something else, maybe like a blue. So we'll see. Some of my neutral points on this knife is just the fact that titanium is just so chunky. I mean, those are some thick slabs. But even then, it's very solid. And, it's got that overbuilt feeling. So it feels really good in the knife. But like I said, it does negate the fact that titanium is supposed to be lighter than steel. But since it's 5 ounces, it's not making any difference as far as weight goes, since this titanium is so thick. So, that's another thing to consider. Just the fact that weight is negated by the thickness. But 5 ounces isn't too bad. And another neutral point is the fact that titanium is very prone to scratching since it's a softer metal. So it needs to be handled, a little bit more carefully. As you can see on here, it's got a lot of snail trails and scratches and stuff. I did buy this used, but I also got it very cheap, so that was another reason I bought it. I may end up just giving it to my brother and getting a new one eventually, if I do end up really enjoying this knife. But like I said, it's gonna be a work knife for me. It should work fine. And it's gonna get scratched up, beat up anyway, so it's not really a problem. And another neutral point was how thick or how large the thumb stud is. They're pretty chunky as well. But it does help, your finger get a good amount of surface area on there to engage it. So I thought that was another point to consider. Some people might not like how big they are. Some people might. It's just all about preference. But I know that it will get in the way of sharpening. So again, something else to consider. Some of my cons that I had with this knife is the poor choice of steel. Because of how interesting and just unique this knife is with the titanium and the plunge lock, I really would have liked to see them use a better steel. 8CR will get the job done, but you're going to have to sharpen it more often, more frequently, and that is something, you got to consider, especially for a work knife. But that's not too much of a problem. It's very easy to get back to, very sharp, shaving sharp, so, it is what it is, not too bad. But I would like to have seen them used something a little bit more of a better steel than 8CR. Maybe their Sandvik 14C28N or D2, just for a few more bucks, could have made this more compelling. But some final thoughts. Despite the choice in steel, I like the direction they went with this, with the titanium and the plunge lock, and it being one of their budget options. I thought that was just really awesome to see. And I really like this blade shape. That drop point is just very nice. And it's got that almost a little bit of a recurve, just very subtle. It's nice belly, so, even though this is thick stock, like I said, with the hollow grind, it should cut well. And since it's, quite overbuilt, this will be a good knife to use at work. And since it's got a plunge lock and a flipper with speed safe, it's very easy for one-hand use. If you're in the situation at work or just even for protection where you only got the one hand available and you need, to be able to open this knife easily and close it easily, it's a very nice option to have. So, very easy deployment, very easy to close and open, or close, with the plunge lock. And, you know, their speed safe has always been okay with me, for the most part. But yeah, I think this is just all in all a really cool budget option with the features that it has, you know, without breaking the bank. So it was nice to see Kershaw make this knife, and, you know, to do what they did with the plunge lock and titanium. But again, if you've seen any other knives with these options in them, please let me know in the comments. And please like and subscribe, and be on the lookout for my next video. I'm gonna have something very special. But thank you for watching, and again, please like and subscribe, and have a good one.